Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm a figure collector, Doug.
And I'm vintage mint condition Ken.
Oh, very nice and fancy.
I need that. I need two.
We're the world's strongest trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Douglas, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up, dude? Nothing much. It's the beginning of June for us around right now, so I've been...
For all of us, yes.
For all of us. The three of us. But I hate doing that time frame, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For us, it's earlier in June, and I've been eyeing these Ninja Turtle figures that are going up on sale. It says June, so like every day I'm just refreshing to see when it pops up so I can just like hit that magic buy button and get some more turtle figures, man. I'm not collecting a lot of turtle figures, just I always say that and then I end up collecting the whole freaking brand. It's not gonna happen this time. Mark my words, it's not gonna happen this time. But these like they'll be like 1/4 scale turtle figures, so they're humongous, and they're from like the 1990 movie, which like I grew up on. So like I was like, yeah, I kind of need that. So yeah, I've been just eyeing that every day now. So that's my life.
That's pretty dope.
It will be, yeah.
Nice.
Are you ordering duplicates?
No, I don't feel the need to order duplicates of this.
Yeah.
That's a valid question. I hate that that's actually a valid question for me. What have I become?
Now, are they going to live with you or are they going to live with your mother?
Haven't decided yet. I want them to be here, but I know as soon as I get them, they're going to be like humongous. Like 1/4 scale is huge, man. That's like 1/4 of a human. Just kidding. But yeah, and I have nowhere ready to post it. To there's no more left inventory space in here. I might have to migrate it back to my mom's house, which we will discuss again and further with this podcast topic. So
that's true. Ken, how about you?
I exited my non-gaming phase for just a little bit because PlayStation did their Days of Play, which is usually when they finally put their last big game on sale, which is what happened with Spider-Man 2, because I was not about to pay $70 for that game. It also came out at the same time as Mario Wonder, and I was like, which one do I want to play more? So I got Mario Wonder instead.
You definitely wondered it up, yeah.
And so I got the game for $50, and I think that was the right price to pay for a game that essentially was just more Spider-Man. It was, It's still a little too bloated, which is weird because it's like shorter than the first one. And I just feel
that's what makes it bloated, probably.
Well, I feel like it was the Miles part of the game that made
surprisingly
it feel a little bloated.
The weakest part of the game, but still, I can't remember now. I look back on it fondly, but the deaf girl part where you got to walk around with like not
that
hearing the sounds, I thought that was really cool, like just like new and innovative. So
her name is Haley, by the way, Doug.
Okay. Haley, yeah. It's been too long. You just played the game. Don't get at me for that.
But it's crazy because so it's not like a Miles thing, because I loved Miles Morales. I thought that was a better game than Spider-Man 1. But in here, I felt like all the Miles stuff really kind of dragged the game down a little bit.
Dude, what'd you think of his costume, his custom,
his final costume?
Yeah,
terrible. What were they smoking?
I don't know, man. The Nike
really bad.
branding, so
awful.
Bad. I'm doing my own thing, and like, no, you could have been so much cooler options out there.
So Spider-Man 3 is gonna come out, and maybe we'll finally see the Green Goblin in one of these games. It's always the craziest thing to think about with this version of Spider-Man is he's like 8, 9, 10 years into his career, and he's never encountered his arch enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but I did like how they handled it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with like we didn't like Green Goblin was like the 5th or whatever villain that Peter faces, but he's so he made such a huge impact on him that he solidifies his arch enemy stature right there.
Yeah.
Did you beat like all the mini games and everything too, like the side quests? I mean, for Spider-Man.
I did everything but the Mysterio stuff because I hate combat challenges.
Me too. But I did. I think I did it anyway. But yeah,
I need to do it. Just go for the platinum because it's an easy platinum. So I just need to go.
Dude, you wouldn't want to pay more than 50. I almost paid whatever 100 something whatever just to get that 19 inches of Venom statue.
Did you almost did or you did?
I almost did.
Okay.
It wasn't worth it to me. I looked at it. I'm like, that's okay. That's kind of cool, but not worth all that kind of money. I have limits, guys.
I mean, so that's the thing for me as well. Is I love Venom. This game really blew their load with symbiotes. And that was like, oh, you guys should have maybe pulled this back a little bit with everything that they did.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah. But it was still cool to have all that.
Yeah. Well, beyond
I
that,
think we're gonna get more in the future games. But yeah.
Beyond that, guys, I have an important life development, which was originally going to be me just talking about how I finally got picked for jury duty. And I have always wanted to do jury duty. But instead, yesterday, something very special happened to me. I went to Home Depot. It's been raining a lot. There's been a lot of erosion. So I was going there to buy some dirt. I also bought what's called like a bee elbow or something because I'm going to, redirect my gutters to kind of go in the front yard instead of the side. Anyways, Home Depot's right next to a Target.
Yep.
So I go to Target.
Yep.
And I'm going back to the collectibles area, and that's right, baby. We got him. We got Kaio-Ken Goku Figuarts. $35, not a penny more. Actually, 5% off with your Target Circle card. All day, every day. Target.com.
Yeah, dude.
But the only reason he was the last one they had him, and they had another that stupid Trunks. The only reason I got him is because it looked like someone sat on his package.
Oh, no.
And by his package, I mean his packaging.
Okay.
So I don't care about that, but that's enough to kill scalpers, stop them dead in their tracks.
I guess so. That was the last one that looked. Man, no one's scalping this. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like this now is more heavily available than it used to be, and
still,
scalpers
this
are
is
getting fucked. So
still
I love
the only one I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
And you know what?
Yeah,
he's not that great of a figure, and let me tell you why.
That's why I didn't want to pay scalper prices for him.
Let me tell you why. Because he does the thing. I hate it when figures have the face looking to the side, because that extremely limits what you can do with that face. And this Goku
only has that, Randy.
Yeah,
it only has
that. And when you've got Goku in Kaio-Ken, right? That's yelling or teeth gritted or serious face. Okay, I don't think serious face when I think Kaio-Ken Goku, but his serious face is the only one that's looking forward.
The calm face is the one looking forward. So what would you do with that? That's true. You have to always have him to the side and like looking side-eyed or whatever. So
Bandai Collectibles, stop doing that.
They just need to include more options, because they're really limiting back how many accessories they include with these damn SH Figuarts.
Yeah,
he only found out what the bare minimum they can give people and still have them buy it.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Anyways, I'm glad to stop. I don't have to look for him anymore, at least.
Dude, what a feeling,
done.
man.
Yeah,
I remember that feeling so like it was yesterday. Just finding it, like, yes, the hunt is over.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Randy, what about you?
Nice.
Where's your
me.
Goku?
I mean, I've got one over here, and
it is Kaio-Ken.
He's Kaio-Ken, so that works. But it's not the same one. I am still in my short game era. So since we last convened, I played a game called Tacoma, which was made by the same people who made Gone Home, if you ever remember playing that one.
Yeah. Scary.
I played
game.
Firewatch. It's very scary. There's nothing scary about it. It's just like something is going to get me, but nothing ever does.
Yeah.
So I played Firewatch, which was also very good.
I need to play that.
Yeah, man. Also short. I mean, gosh, what was it? Was it Tacoma or Firewatch that I played really quickly? I can't remember what it was.
Firewatch is a one-sitting game.
Yeah, I think I did it in 2 because I started at a coffee shop and then I just finished at home like the next afternoon. There was one I didn't put in here. Journey. Played Journey for the first time.
Oh, that's right.
Day.
I remember you talking about
where
what's the hype after you're 10 years late playing this game, 15 years later.
Yeah, I played it at the wrong time. It was okay. It was fine. It was good, but it just didn't. I wasn't like, why was everybody raving about this? But this came out at a time when everything was gunmetal gray and sepia brown and a cover shooter. So having something like this is a breath of fresh air.
I had the same feeling you had playing Flower for the first time, like 10 years too late. And like, what is the type with this?
I played Journey like 7-8 years ago, and I kind of felt the same way even then. I was like, oh, okay. I guess. I mean, that's still like 20 years after it came out. I was still like such a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
But I was just like, okay. I mean, it was not bad. I just remember everyone talking. And so if like you don't know the thing about that game, well, I'm not going to say what it is, but when you find out at the end, I guess a lot of people had big like emotional impact from it. And I was just okay,
I forget what happened.
guess.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I'm going to have to look it up because I also was like, let me go read reviews. And they're like, oh, it's just an emotional journey. I'm like, was it? Like, I didn't have that. Did I miss something
I think
big?
we're too fragmented of a society to truly appreciate what that game was doing.
Your life right now is a different place than it would have been back then too.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
I think a lot of the aesthetics might have been what like elevated the game too, of how beautiful it felt and looked.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
true.
it's not bad. And I will say, Doug, flower rules, so I don't want to hear it. Okay.
Just with the controller, just like, all right, this is it.
And then this morning I beat Mega Man 01, so that was a good time, and I'm looking forward to playing some more because I got that collection that came out a few years ago, and I was like, finally, I'll play all 4 of these, and then I didn't. So
You just beat the game in one sitting this morning, or you're saying that you finally finished it this morning?
I finished it because I had started it. Right. No, I mean, my finished time was like 1 hour, 10 minutes, but I had started it like 20 minutes worth like 2 years ago. So then I was like, well, let me just jump into this and finish it. It's a short game, especially when you play in assisted mode and story mode difficulty where it's like, I just destroy everything instantly. I just want to know what happens because there was a YouTuber who put up like an 8-hour thing of like, here's the history, the chronology of all of the Mega Man series. And I was loving it. And I was watching it. And he's like, all right, now let's talk about Zero. And I'm like, nope, pause. I'll come back another time. I don't want to be spoiled. And now it's been a year. So
fun fact, we did an episode of Crossover about the Mega Man timeline way back in the day. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I didn't want to spoil myself on this person's wonderful video without experiencing it myself. So I'm going to try to get through that, especially if they're only like an hour long. So
just
like
the riveting story of Mega Man.
Hey, man. Mega Man rules.
With Bandage Man and
Bandage Man.
Reaper Man.
I've always loved the aesthetic of Mega Man and Mega Man X. I actually have the Mega Man X Master Collection art book signed by Keiji Inafune.
By Mega Man? Oh.
Whoa.
Which was worth more at the time.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I was just going to bust out my Mega Man X3 model kit figure, but I packed him up last night because I'm moving.
I never played Mega Man. I remember getting him as a gift from my aunt once because I said I wanted a Dragon Ball Z game for Game Boy, and she just saw at the store Mega Man Z and then got that for me instead. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Gave it a try.
Yeah.
I'm like, this game is not for me.
It was always the game I would watch my friend Chris play, but I wouldn't ever play myself because I was not good at those games. And still, I was
surprised
good at those games.
how good it looks, though. Like, just like the... I hate using the word aesthetic again, but it really is like a beautifully looking game, even for the time. It was great. I didn't like I said, I didn't play much of the game, but I can't deny how hyped I was seeing that trailer for him when he got announced for Super Smash Bros. That trailer I must have watched a million times. Again, no love for Mega Man, but that trailer made him look so awesome, and the music was so cool, and just like all the powers. It's just the best trailer for a reveal character for Super Smash Bros.
I think Mega Man X1 probably has one of the like top 10 greatest game soundtracks of all time.
Nice. I gotta check that out.
You should. So this isn't a Mega Man podcast. It could be, and it should be, maybe. We can do that some other time. You know, instead of
I'm
showing...
fresh out of tips for Mega Man figures, so I don't know what you're on your own there.
We'll figure it out. But speaking of figures...
Hey, figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good one. We're here to talk about Dragon Ball merch. And like, I don't know, like what's that been like for us, you know? I mean, if you're watching this right now, you can clearly see Doug, Ken, and me have some things. And, you know, maybe that's been a recent development, or maybe that's been us all of our lives, and we just wanted to talk about that. So I figured we'd go for it. I put down a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Can you put up a counter of every time we say that?
I'm not doing
That's too much.
No, I don't do that now. I figured you said that.
Oh, so I put together just a thing of like, what stuff have I had throughout my life? But I don't have to be the first one to talk here. I can give the floor to Ken or
Yeah,
Doug?
well,
What do you guys want to do?
Where did our journey start? Like, what was the earliest thing you remember ever getting Dragon Ball?
Oh, God. Randy, do you?
So I'm trying to remember. The first thing I would have gotten, honestly, probably was my what I thought to be import, but turned out to just be a burned copy from eBay of Dragon Ball GT Final Bout and Idainaru Dragon Ball Densetsu for the PS1.
Perfect. What's that in
it might have
English?
That's Dragon Ball Z Legends is what it's colloquial named as. But unfortunately,
Thank you.
there's this other dumb mobile game that's got the same name. So
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's not dumb. It's just a mobile game, which I guess
Right. Therefore,
same difference with.
No comment from me.
No comment. Okay, Ken, what's the earliest thing merch-wise you can remember?
Manga. It's either buying the old floppies at like a gas station or going with my grandpa to Books A Million and purchasing Dragon Ball Z Volume 7 of the Viz manga. We don't start at Volume 1 here in this house.
Never.
Start at Raditz.
Not even with Raditz.
No. We start at
You're big brain.
Zarbon or we
You're
start
going
not at
Zarbon.
all. Okay. So
The best figure art.
yeah, and I still have these. I've never replaced them with the smaller ones, you know.
So,
Yeah.
for those out there who may not know, me included, what is a floppy? You mean those like little individual chapter manga?
Yeah, so the floppies where they would take 2 chapters of the manga and mash them together into like a comic book size.
Okay.
Those are known as floppies.
I didn't know they were called floppies.
Yeah. Well, that's a term used for American comic books, and so I'm.
Oh,
using
is it?
for
I didn't
the-
know that either. Yeah, I'm not a big comic book guy. I'm just a Dragon Ball guy, and that's it. Otherwise, I'd go broke because of all the fandoms I love, which is why my Naruto collection is getting a little bigger unintentionally.
Well, instead of Naruto, Doug, what's the first thing merch-wise you can remember getting for Dragon Ball?
I remember going to Toys R Us with my mom when I was maybe early high school, but I felt like a kid, and picking up a copy of the Dragon Ball Z movie 7, Super Android 13. Because I thought on the cover, I thought that Android 13 was Broly, and I really wanted to see more Broly because I watched AMVs of him online.
It's honestly
And I also picked.
my favorite Doug story of all time. I think about that all the time.
It's so dumb. I put the movie in and start watching. I'm like, why are the androids here? When's Broly going to show up? It's like 40 minutes in. I don't think who is this blue guy now? I thought that was Broly. But yeah, on that same Toys R Us trip, I also picked up like these model kits of like Goku and Vegeta, like very rudimentary old like model kits. This was back before I knew what model kits were. So when I opened up the box and I'm like, what the fuck? I have to assemble? What the fuck is this? Like, I mean, not knowing what model kits are at all. So I'm like, what is it broken? What is this? And just me angrily like putting things together. Like, I just want the figure. I don't want to put these together. And ever since I've hated model kits.
I've got those back here, actually.
Do you really?
I'm now wondering, Doug, in high school, could you read? Because it says Super Android 13 on the cover, and you're like, this has to be about Broly. And now you're like, model kits. That doesn't say toy. What is this?
Dude, back then, but before we knew what happened to Dragon Ball, like we've only gotten up to, I think, like around the Android arc of the series. So I'm like, everything else is like, you have to have connections to Japan or like spoil yourself by reading stuff that's going to happen. So I'm like, maybe this happens. I don't know. This was some kind of connection. Also, yeah, no, I couldn't read because on the cover it said contains edited only version, but it had like this, it was like on a splash thing, so I thought that was a feature, and I'm like, edited? What does that mean? Like, I'm an idiot.
You thought it was an AMV, and you were like,
this is before I knew that like things like it's like censorship and all that, like editing. I didn't know what that meant, so I'm like, of course I want my movie edited. Why wouldn't I want it to be? It's like how I thought I wanted my steak as a kid. Like, how do you want your steak cooked? Well done? Yeah, I want it well. I want it cooked well. So, that's not what that means.
So
okay.
this was before you discovered Daizenshu EX.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Around the same time, yeah. I think it was when I discovered Daizenshu EX, but still like, no, you guys are okay, but I'm gonna still watch the dub.
You don't visit Mike Labrie's website and not know how heavily edited Funimation could get.
I don't know what was going through my mind. I think I just didn't really like care about the splash. I'm like, that's kind of cool. But then I went to a friend's house weeks later and he had the same DVD, but it had like includes uncut and Japanese version. I was like, wait, what? You have more stuff than mine? What? Goku gets punched in the balls in this version? It was wild, man.
Oh, That's good.
I still have it. I want to like frame it like the DVD case, like as
Hell
my
yeah.
first dumb purchase of the entire Dragon Ball franchise.
I have a whole bunch of other stuff. Do you just want to go through other histories, or do you want to jump into talking about
Mine would be
anything
10
specific?
years worth of talking each purchase.
Okay.
I don't know what you want to do.
I'd love to talk
got
about
dumb
this
stuff.
next thing you've got, Randy, because I had the same thing.
Was it the Tiger Electronics handheld thing of like Goku versus the Ginyu Force?
Yeah.
And
And it
oh,
came
you
with
did.
the little Goku figurine that would go in the top
Yep.
of it to serve no
To
purpose.
Yeah, I was like, does this unlock it? What is this?
Just sat in
Because
there,
you
yeah.
It's so
Still
dumb.
cool.
If I
I think
recall,
you fought Ginyu on the bottom, and then after you move up, then it would be fighting Frieza as Super Saiyan Goku. Is that
I
right?
thought I must have never gotten that far. I thought it was Jeese and Ginyu.
I think it might have been
Frieza, cool,
Jeese. Yeah, Jeese, Ginyu, and then Frieza at the top, I think.
Maybe, yeah. Those games were hard, dude. I also
Yeah,
had like a
those
Sonic
are
Spinball
bad.
one. That was hard.
Oh, I had a Goosebumps one, like the Night of the Living Dummy or whatever that was named.
Oh.
And it like laughed at you through the cartridge screen, and it was scary.
In case you're too young to remember what these are, I think they're actually having like a resurgence right now, but they were these old games that looked like little Game Boys. They're a little bit more squatty than that.
They look like
and
Game Boy Advanced, right? The kind of shape.
kind of, yeah. And they were like super rudimentary games and had like pre-drawn little screens on there. Or through like sprites pre-drawn in there that would fill in black. I don't know how the technology works, but
It's genius
Right,
for the
was-
time, like how simple it is, but effective.
yeah, and your parents could go buy this for way
For
cheaper than a
$10.
video game would cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Google Tiger Electronics handheld, or even just look up Mr. Game & Watch, because it's the same
Yeah.
thing, really. So that's kind of how that
It
went.
blew my
And this-
mind as a kid when I had one of those like racing wheel version of that, and like it was it's just like when I grew older, I'm like, wait, that's just a picture of a car on the front,
Yep.
and the background is just moving as a track. What is this? Like, yeah, that opened up my eyes to like, oh, you could cheat. Like, I like programming wise, like there's ways around things. It was cool.
Yeah. So I've kind of been playing Dragon Ball games ever since. So thanks, those imports that weren't actual imports, that were just burned copies, and that Tiger Electronics thing. I also had this really sweet poster in 7th and 8th grade.
Yep.
It's like the entire cast during the Android arc. So we got Trunks, Vegeta, Tenshin Han, and everything out along the bottom from like the end of the Head Chala opening, and then just a big Goku in the back, and it looks like he's. I was like, is he
His
like
hand
stretching
is-
his wristband? But no, he's just
But
holding
not-
it there.
Yeah.
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 I remember that. Yeah.
It's iconic. I guarantee you, if you've seen this before.
If
Yeah.
you saw Randy and I do this in the video, you'll know what pose
And
that is.
what he's
But
talking
on
about.
the audio,
Yeah.
listeners,
We can't even describe it. Yeah. It's
No.
we're doing the
abstract.
claw in the air next to our faces.
Kind of, yeah. It's very
Right.
strange, but I've never stopped to think about the pose before.
Because when I scan it, I just like look across. I'm like, oh yeah, he's like putting on his wristband.
Yeah.
But like, nope, he's not touching his wristband.
There's
He's
supposed to be
doing something
a
else.
digivice on his wrist, and he's like turning the digivice to like activate.
Now, I had this poster as well.
Oh.
It was a Walmart poster, so it was very popular
Oh.
back in the day. Walmart, maybe
I
Hot
did
Topic
too.
or
Now that
something. Yeah.
all three of us had this poster.
Yeah, and I would like staple my posters into the wall. And I remember this was years after I left home. My mom, her sister, my aunt, came to stay with her, and she stayed in my old room, and this poster was still up there. And my aunt was like, "What the heck?"
They couldn't take it down because the staples you put
It's
on
since
there.
been taken down, and I don't know if I have it here now or not. But
Let me tell you the evolution of what I figured looks good for like wall art. It was posters with like tape or staples on them. That's like
Yep.
very basic. I'm just getting into the anime and I'm a kid kind of thing. Then you upgrade to wall scrolls and you think that's the shit. And
Yep.
then you become an adult and you're like, this looks tacky as hell. Let me go back to posters, but frame them in picture frames to put them on the wall. That's a nice,
Yep.
clean look. I think the next step above that, I haven't tested it out yet, but is to frame wall scrolls. That might be the next move. I gotta see.
I don't know.
I mean, my new thing is the metal art plates that you can.
Oh yeah, those are
the
really
wall.
cool. I don't know. A friend of mine had one, and yeah, those are pretty dope.
But-
But something about like the framing of a border of a picture frame just really adds
Yeah.
a little extra nice to it.
Randy, this poster brings to mind the plethora of that style of like not necessarily edgy, but striking Dragon Ball art that was on everything back then, including school supplies. And if you didn't have
I had that one.
and folders,
I'm having a Yagami Light moment.
Yeah. And what was great, so what I'm holding up here is a file folder. I think these are called pen tab type things. Back in the day, you would put these, I don't know, I have no idea what's going on in schools these days. You would put these in your binders, and you could put...
They're not using folders anymore.
You could put, I don't know, everything's on iPads now. You could put things like papers and schoolwork in here, and it would keep it separated in your binder from everything else. But this one is like gray and kind of looks like a quilted pattern almost on it, mosaic pattern. But then you've got Goku standing in the middle looking all stoic, and it says Dragon Ball, no Z, you may notice on this. But there's a style to this art where it was off-model ever so slightly. Like if you look at it, this was not Yamamuro or any of those artists, but it was still like, you looked at it and guys just said, hell yeah, you know?
Yeah. In America, yeah. It must have been like an American artist who was really talented at mimicking the Japanese style of it. Because it all looks like the same guy. You see that on T-shirts. You see that on like everything.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
a style.
Maybe it's just Uchiyama, but we gave him an hour to draw it rather than 4 seconds. You know.
I mean, it's so impressive how much like that's actual art. Like someone actually put that together and had a vision, as opposed to the T-shirts we get now, where it's just like a character, the basic stoic pose of someone, or like just one image. This one has like some thought into it.
It's art like that. That specific like art style that they were using in 2000, 2001. I'm like, that's Dragon Ball to me.
That font, with like the very slim Dragon Ball font. It's the same kind of like creativity that went into the cover of the Ocean Group DVD covers. You know what I mean? Like those had really they were their own unique art styles before Funimation fully took over and just like did a screenshot of one of the episodes and put that as a cover.
I don't know if they're creative, but they're of their own style. But
I think they were like calendar images, or a lot of them were like the other promotional art that was used in Japan beforehand, but they are very like striking. Yeah.
Real quick, I am an idiot, and there is a Z right here.
But, in the back.
So just in case someone's watching the YouTube version, being like, it's right there, how can you not see it?
You shouldn't have pointed it out. We could have got engagement from our fans.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I had a few of those. Those were also really great. My other big thing, and Doug was roasting me about this before, but you know what? I thought it was great. I had one of those like silky button-up shirts, but it was like this blue wavy pattern, and it's got Super Saiyan Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks on there. I love that shirt so much, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but I wore it to the first day of school in 9th grade. We had a new principal that just started that day, and I'm at lunch. I'm at the lunch table, and the principal walks over and he puts his hand on my shoulder and just says, "Hey, Goku's my favorite," and then just leaves.
He massages with both hands.
I was like looking around. I was like, does it say his name? How does this adult know this cool thing? And it turns out like that's what he does in the afternoon. He goes home. That's how he bonds with his son, as they watch Dragon Ball.
But you have that like separation from that as a kid. You're like, this adult? How does this adult know about my thing? It's I imagine very eye-opening for you. I had the same thing, but with my fellow peers, where everyone really didn't talk about anime or anything like that, but I had a Dragon Ball Z shirt on one time, and then like one of the more popular kids in school, who was like a badass, like almost gangster kind of like kid, like came up to me and was like, "Yo, I love that shirt, man. That shirt's fucking awesome." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man."
Dragon Ball, really cool. Very popular in gangster communities. Or so I'm told.
It's popular with everybody.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because like if you think it was popular with everybody would strive to be more like Goku, and we'd be living in a better society.
No, everybody hopped on the Vegeta train, and that's why we have shirts that are like Majin Vegeta. That's just like
can't go to the gym without seeing a shirt like that. Training to beat Goku.
So I think
oh my God.
Back in like 2000, 2001, very pre 9/11 era, all I wore were Dragon Ball shirts. So I have this picture here, which you'll see here on the screen, of me wearing a Trunks shirt. This is me in 8th grade, if you can believe it or not. Dude. And on the back of the shirt was Super Saiyan Grade 3 Trunks. And
I have a figure somewhere.
I don't know why I had this shirt. I don't really like Trunks. So I
Not
don't
even
know
this
why
Trunks?
I was parading a Trunks shirt around. But I had this.
I'm
I
sure-
had like an imperfect Cell shirt.
You didn't have many options like when it came to shirts.
Yeah.
There wasn't online you could access. You just went to a store and like,
Yeah.
oh, there's there's a shirt of Dragon Ball. I want it.
Kids today don't and like I'm about to praise how lucky you kids are, okay? Back in the day, if you liked something, there was like a 40% chance there was going to be merch, readily available merch of it, okay?
Yes.
Nowadays, you like something, they have to have that merch on the shelves ready for you,
Yeah.
or else it's not going to be on TV.
Not only 40% chance that they have the merch, but then another 40% of within that your parents would actually buy it for you.
Yeah.
Like you have to convince them
True.
somehow. I love this.
And this,
to get them to buy it to you.
you couldn't find
This was-
Sonic the Hedgehog figures. Those you couldn't.
No.
There were like the dolls. I've got the Tails one back here. And you were lucky if you found those and a pair of Sonic and Knuckles Velcro shoes, which I had.
You made
And
a mission,
also-
you completed it.
We didn't have things like Etsy, where people who like were filling in the niche of like this
Right.
thing doesn't have the merch that you want, so I'll make it and sell it to you.
Yeah.
Y'all got it so lucky today.
We would have sold.
I'm
We
jealous.
would have settled for like just those people that just steal art from Dragon Ball images and slap them on a shirt and for like sell them for $10.
Yeah.
I remember being like in 9th grade and being like, okay, like what if I just bought Potara fusion earrings, and I decided that's my style now. And I luckily could not find them on the
Dude.
internet to buy. Now
Your life would
internet's
have been
lousy with them.
different. This
Oh.
butterfly effect would have went from there, skyrocketed somewhere else.
Yeah, you were really forced to restrain how much of a fan you could be of something.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my era, I would just spend all my time printing out pictures and putting them in my binders.
Putting them everywhere.
you
Yep.
know. Yeah, you'd go buy those binders that were clear in the front. I don't know if they make these anymore, but you would buy a binder that was clear in the front. You would just stuff it with like pictures that you printed out.
Oh yeah. Make it your own.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Now kids
Dude,
just
so
have clear backpacks.
It was so hard to find Dragon Ball Z shirts for me in my area that I think I went to like Ocean City one vacation summer, and then like I one of the shops there was a yellow T-shirt of Dragon Ball Z of like I think Trunks slicing Frieza. I'm like, oh my god, it's Dragon Ball, I want it, please. And my dad was like, no, it's yellow, you're not getting that. It's like, what? Why? I was like, all right, Dad.
I remember when I was in 6th grade, they were still only making Pokemon shirts for kids, right? They're kid sizes
Oh, yep.
only. And I was right at the size where I was to stop wearing kids shirts. So I would wear like an XXL like kids shirt, trying to like hope to God it would fit me. And as I was getting older, it did not work out. So you had to get what you could get back then.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Speaking of things that you kids these days have it so easy. You guys got stuff like Crunchyroll and other streaming services that like they've got all that stuff there. Other merch, home release stuff. I bought a huge thing of fan subs. I have it right down there. I'm not going to pull it out because it's under a whole bunch of stuff of all of the show. And I was like, this is good. It's not, but I want to own the actual thing. And the only way to do that, I had concocted the idea of like, I'm going to subscribe to Netflix, which Netflix at the time was discs. This was not a streaming thing.
Oh, there's no streaming. Yeah.
No. So I was like, I'm going to get in the discs. I've got a CD burner and I'm going to burn copies of everything, every disc of Dragon Ball Z, and it's going to go great. And before I enacted that, they're like, orange bricks are coming. And I'm like, yeah, that's affordable. So I think I'll get that. So I bought all those.
Little
And
did you know what it would turn into. But no, I had a similar thing. My dad had like a DVD burner. And so when like the Trunks special came on TV, I recorded that and then drew my own little custom cover for like the CD case on it and had that. I don't know where it is. I wish I still had it, but yeah, it meant more to me. Even had all the commercials on there from that time. I wish I could have found that.
And then like with home media, you couldn't just buy a season set like you can now. You would go to the store, and if they had a tape,
You'd go to Suncoast.
you know, you might have. So I have 3 Dragon Ball Z tapes. I've got the first one we ever bought was Android's Dr. Well, it would have been Zero back then. And then we have one from the Boo saga. Again, it was a dub tape, so I'm saying using terms. And then we had the history of Trunks. So those are the 3 Dragon Ball
You
Z
own
tapes that I
3
have. So it was just like, yeah, it was. Did I have enough allowance to get it? And I would get it, and if it was out of order, it was out of order, and it was just what I had. And I would so rewatch these episodes over and over. I don't like the history of Trunks, but they had it.
So I got it. That was like me. It was the summer before they started airing the Boo stuff. I mean, even the Great Saiyaman stuff. So I was in a Walmart and I found a tape that was like 2 or 3 episodes of the Afterlife tournament. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah. And I bought it and I went home like, I'm watching this so much earlier than everybody else. I mean, like Japan had seen it like fucking 6-7 years prior.
6-7 years ago. Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I'm so ahead of the curve. And I hate those episodes. So they're
so
okay.
Annoying how Funimation, like once I finally got committed to like I'm gonna own the entire set of DVDs of the entire franchise, is when I sat down and looked like, okay, why is everything from the Saiyan saga up to the Android saga available? Then they skip the Great Saiyaman saga and then go to Majin Buu, and then like it was such a weird thing. We got the Great Saiyaman saga last. We got the Cell Games saga last or something like that. But it was so freaking weird. But that was the first time when I spent I had a communion late in my life, which is like 11 years old. I think you're supposed to have that when you're younger. I don't know. I'm not really religious, but I still went through with it because my parents said to. But because of that, my parents have a lot of like friends that are religious as well. So we had a first communion party when I completed it. They gave me so much money. Like all the envelopes I took and I rushed them up to my room and opened them. More money for Dragon Ball DVDs on eBay. And so like I would have 2 piles. I would have the pile for the Dragon Ball Z DVDs, and the pile that I would tell my parents how much I got. So this other pile the Dragon Ball pile was a lot bigger. Yeah, Mom, I got $400. It's amazing. I really got like 1,000 total from all these envelopes, and it all went to Dragon Ball Z DVDs. And man, it was a great time.
And if they were ever upset, like, why did you hide this from us? Why did you lie to us? Like, well, I wanted a shirt and Dad said it's yellow, you can't. So now I don't trust you with anything. So I need my own money.
That's exactly why. My mom had to have known because she somehow put it into my bank account for me to then buy it on eBay. So I didn't have my own bank account at that age.
Parents know.
Yeah.
So speaking of DVDs, the first DVD I ever purchased was, Doug, you got it, Movie 6.
No.
Disgusting.
So just appreciating.
Oh wow, you were one DVD before me. Mine was movie 7, yours movie 6.
So I never had movie 5, just movie 6. That's like having Empire Strikes Back, but not A New Hope.
Yeah, but the titling is so confusing. Cooler. I mean, I guess not for that one, but for the first one, it would have been Cooler's Revenge.
Revenge or Return, yeah. So,
man.
Oh wow, that is Star Wars. Actually, now that you mentioned it, Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith. Are those Star Wars?
Well, so Doug, originally Return of the Jedi was going to be Revenge of the Jedi, but then they changed the title.
Actually, if you look further,
Jedi
Blue
don't get
Harvest.
revenge.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, then home release stuff. And then I bought all those orange bricks, and then I bought all those dragon boxes, and I bought all that Kai, and then I bought all that Super.
I remember being so excited for the orange bricks when they were first coming out, but I was excited and mad because, like I said, I had spent all this communion money on these single $25 for 5-episode DVDs of Dragon Ball, and then they announced. I was so mad, like I just spent all this money on these. I emailed Michael Labrie for whatever reason. I didn't know that, but I was like, how could they do this? Are they going to refund me money for me spending all this money on all that? I'm such an idiot kid, and
Can you find that email?
I hope he doesn't remember that.
Please find me that email. I would love to post that on the screen.
Maybe it might be on the forum. If I find it, I'll definitely let you have it.
Time to do some hunting. See what you should have done with your
Are they
church
going to reimburse
money.
me for my? It's so dumb.
What you should have done with that church money, do what I did, buy a really nice Sony Trinitron television, CRT, and keep that until you leave for college, and then just offload it to whoever wants it because I don't want this anymore. And then later in life, be like, that actually would have been pretty sweet for some retro gaming, but okay, guess I just got rid of it for a song.
I have held on to like everything. When I was a kid, I once traded away a Hitmonlee card. And I felt so much regret about it that I have never let anything go since.
I did the same, Ken, with Pokemon cards. That's how we learn, is like, what a huge mistake it was to give away this card for this trade, and I will treat everything now with care.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you learn life lessons through Pokemon, of course.
Yep. I did the same thing. I wanted...
They teach me, I'll teach you.
I wanted to buy this ceramic Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Is that the official one?
No, this one was from
go back in time?
songbirdocarina's.com, which are still around. But I wanted the cash for it. Didn't have a job. Obviously, I was in 8th grade. And so I was like, I have Pokemon cards that I've got a mint. This is going to go so good. I told my dad, I'm like, here you go. Here's 9 of them in a sleeve. They're first editions, holofoil. I'm going to be rich. He's like, all right, cool. I'll put it on eBay. You want to start at $1 to, entice everybody.
Oh, no.
And I think I made like $10 off of 9 really good cards.
That
so
would
I'm
be worth like hundreds today.
Yeah, I know that was a holofoil first edition Hitmonchan. And I'm sure that could
That's
have been
300.
Yeah, man.
I actually have a Pokemon card pricing guide.
Do you really?
Like the first one they
current?
ever released. No, it's not current. It's like 1999.
No, he'd have to update
Yeah.
that every single week to do that.
So yeah, is there anything else other merch before? I mean, we'll have a certain other
I mean, I can go on and on. Where do you
want?
want to? What's the next topic?
First game I ever bought, not counting that Tiger Electronics thing, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Well, I don't know if I bought this. I think I had it for Christmas, and that was when I got my PS2. Was for this game specifically. This was the game that made me say, I want more polygons in my life. And yeah.
And Budokai delivered.
And also this kind of like random stuff that you would just see at the store. These like coloring and activity books way back in the day. You can't find this kind of stuff anymore, but it would just have like, yeah, I mean, it's a coloring book and activities. And it's funny because...
condition, you haven't colored in it.
True. The era of this stuff was like, had some Goku and versus Frieza stuff, but I don't think that stuff had shown on TV yet. And so there was still a lot of that in here. There was some Garlic Jr. stuff in here where they had Meron, but they were calling her Bulma in these books. So yeah, just a lot
Not
of
surprised.
really, of that era type
that's
stuff. There was a
cool.
lot
It's
of
just like-
confusion about who she was.
It's just like this Dragon Ball Z thing is kicking off. We need to start selling merch. So whatever we got, just pump it out there.
But I would buy this stuff not to color or do any of this stuff, just to look at these pictures in here.
That's right.
Of like
It's
blown
pretty
up.
cool art.
Yeah.
Is that the official? Is that from the show? But it's just like blown up.
They would have blown it up and traced over it, or whatever. As a kid trying to learn how to draw this style, this stuff was valuable.
yeah.
The gold.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't just Google image search Goku shirtless.com and then find what you're looking for, okay?
Oh, I could.
Randy
and
would.
did. Didn't like what I saw.
Not yet.
I'm coming over to your house,
pose.
Ken. I want to see all your cool stuff that you've
If that's
hoarded
a cool
over these
museum.
years.
Like you definitely have more of a unique because you kept everything. I didn't. There's a gap between me collecting anything really. It was just I just focused on DVDs and that was it. It wasn't until like later on where I started noticing people selling stuff on the Kanzenshuu website for like good prices because it's just secondhand from fan to fan. So I would get good deals on stuff like more DVDs or more manga and that kind of stuff. And I got some really cool stuff from there.
But the coolest stuff of all is the figures.
Oh, it's true.
That
I know
changed my life.
We've been dancing around it, but we got to talk about figures because clearly it's a thing we all like. Some of us to the extreme, and they're all really great. And surely somebody like Doug and Ken have some great tips on how to get into collecting this stuff for a decent price. Hopefully, otherwise, I don't know. You guys are gonna be destitute.
So, Doug, you are like the chief engineer of money savings here. You've seen the Matrix, looked at the code, and you are out here getting toys for cheaper than they were produced. So, like, it costs like $3 to produce it.
Sometimes
You're like
cheaper than
$2.
retail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up not having a lot of money, having like basically working paycheck to paycheck, honestly, working paycheck to paycheck. And like maybe that's why the Kanzenshuu website was so nice because I would buy things for like $20 for like that was a great deal for me. So so I always found a way to get the best deal for whatever I was looking for. And I always bought in moderation. It wasn't until I finally got a good job as an adult that I had some more disposable income that I could definitely I now I had money to buy the figures, but I still had that paycheck to paycheck mentality where I'm like, if I'm going to buy something, I need to find it the cheapest I can. Even if I just save $1 or $2, that is my goal, is to get that. And a lot of the times I save I found a way now to save more than 40% more than what people would be paying here in America by buying stuff internationally straight from Japan. Even with the shipping cost, shipping is a lot more affordable than you would think. You just have to have patience, really, because the cheapest way to get things shipped usually costs around that $30 price range, but you have to wait about it says like 1 to 4 months, but I've never had to go more than 3 months. It's usually average out to 2 months of waiting, which is like I love looking at it as buying it for myself in the future. Whereas like 2 months pass and then a package comes full of figures, like, whoa, what did I get? Oh, I got all this, and like it's already been paid for and everything. So it's just a gift for me at that point. It's a beautiful thing.
Now, you say the shipping is affordable now, and that's especially important because you have Premium Bandai here trying to get you $10 every time you order something.
Yes. I went through so many phases of like discovering what is the cheapest way. I used to be like, oh, Premium Bandai is the way to go. It's from the source, and looking, just only having that compared to Big Bad Toy Store, where they would upcharge almost double sometimes the price. I think I remember like Metal Cooler selling for $120 on Premium Bandai, but then Big Bad Toy Store charging $190 for it. So it was like, that's when I was like, no.
In Big Bad Toy Store's defense, what they are doing is they are charging you the service of them having to deal with Premium Bandai. And also, if you put in a pre-order for this figure, they have to put in a pre-order with Premium Bandai.
But there are so many other sites that also do the same thing, but they don't upcharge nearly as high as they do.
Yeah,
like there's
running a business.
I don't know how they do it, honestly. Like Hobby Genki is a good site to get Premium Bandai figures from. I introduced that to Ken. You save maybe like $10-15, but that's still better than that. And that goes a long way.
That's even with doing 4-day shipping. I'm not waiting 3-6 months like Doug is. Right. You know, I'm doing the fastest shipping possible, and it's still. But
even that's like a better way to do it than Premium Bandai. There's really no incentive now for using Premium Bandai. Because they charge you the $10 shipping and then the tax on that and then the higher price. It's just not worth it anymore.
And you're waiting like a couple of weeks after it's already come out in Japan.
That's true. The best thing too is that since things come out in Japan a lot earlier than it does in America, even waiting those 2 months, I get figures way sooner than even American retailers get them here.
Yeah.
So it's I have to wait per se, but I'm still getting it sooner than anyone else here in America is. I'm not paying crazy. I used to watch YouTubers all the time in my envy before I had any money to spend on these things. Like just like, how are you buying all these figures and you're getting them from Japan, getting them so early? You must be spending so much money. I think they were, but at the same time, by the time I got to it, I was getting figures for cheaper and paying less shipping just by waiting a little longer. And you can pay the extra shipping to get it like in a week or two or even like 3 weeks or whatever. But the price jump from that to that is like from $30 to like it jumps up to like 80. And at that point, I'm not saving money at that point. So that's not worth it to me to spend $80 to get it just 2 weeks later. I'd rather wait.
And to give our listeners here in America an idea of what we're talking about here, the yen is extremely weak to the US dollar.
Unfortunately for Japan, So that's good news for us in America.
So when I ordered the King Cold figure, Doug was like, dude, check it out, Hobby Genki, because I was not about to pay $200, $800, or whatever he was. I forget. I did not want to pay that on Premium Bandai. And then from Hobby Genki, because I'm buying him at yen, maybe a little bit above MSRP, but it's still, it's the yen, which is so weak. And I'm putting $20 shipping on that. I'm still saving $30 versus using Premium Bandai. So like the way to save on these figures, step one, go to Japan. Like not like physically, you don't have to go to Japan. You're going to pay a lot in customs. Don't do that. But
oh, that's true.
Yeah, just like get it from Japan. That's like, would you say that's step number one, Doug?
For Premium Bandai figures specifically, using Hobby Genki and things like that. Yeah. The other, what I've been doing is I'm trying to collect all the SH Figuarts, I guess, ever for Dragon Ball that came out. It is such a risky game for me, so I don't like being too risky at that. So I do pre-order the figures that are coming out now on Hobby Genki. But to get figures that have been released previously, sometimes I can even get those for cheaper than they were going for on Premium Bandai. Like I think I got Jiro and Android 19. Or is that the same person? I'm so bad at that.
He's 20, but they're both S tier, so.
Right. Yeah. They're going for like what? I think 60 or 70 on Premium Bandai. I found them both for 55 each just by going through international proxy service. I use Buyee. I'm not sponsored by them, so use anyone you want. There's other proxy
Mercari.
and national services. Well, I go to Bai, and then from Bai they let you access Japanese Mercari, so it's all like one thing. But I like doing that method because that's the first one I went to, and I know how to use it now, and because Mercari often has coupons for anime figures. So on top of the good deals I'm getting there, I'm also getting like sometimes they have 15% off coupons. The coupons I've seen range from 7% off to 25% off. Obviously, those are more rare, but that was a heyday for me when I found 25% off coupon. January was a hectic month for Doug's wallet.
It's addictive.
Unfortunately, I have an addictive personality when it comes to figures. I can admit that, but I love it, and nothing better than like getting a good deal for something too. That like getting Final Form Cooler SH Figuarts, you would be paying $200 easy here in America on eBay or whatever. I found it for $80.
That's about MSRP.
About MSRP in Japan. It was used, but I always make sure it's in good condition, and that's the best thing too. The Japanese are way more honest, I guess, than we are here in America. They're honest. It's like if there's even a scratch anywhere on the box on the figure, they'll take a close-up picture of that and like make it aware, like, hey, there's this, and just I've never seen a bootleg. I've seen knockoffs on there, but the seller always makes it in the description very clear. This is a knockoff. This is a bootleg overseas item, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're very honest over there. So there's less risk.
Probably statistically, they eat a lot less Cheetos than we do. So even the used figures are in nicer condition.
Oh, very, very true. Yeah. So that's the way to do it. Really, is to proxy service. I mean, and I'm aware that for me, I have to spend a lot to save a lot, because to get that cheap shipping, I'm combining like 10 orders. And they let you combine, like it's like an eBay. It's like people just list used items or new items on a listing, but you can then combine them into one shipping box to then have it sent over, and that saves you so much money. As opposed to like having each. Let's say I got 10 figures, instead of paying $15 each for all that, that's like $150 for shipping each individually. I can combine them all, have it $30 total, and then just have to wait 2 months to get it.
So ordering in bulk, ordering overseas, ordering
even
used.
buying two figures at a time, you will save a lot of money. Like two figures, I think I had combined with shipping was like $20, and because it's a small package, it's just 2 figures. That $20 option is the faster option. Like you'll get it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then of course, having patience is important too.
Very much so. Yeah. Because you have to sit. I literally, my daily routine is to open up a website, check out Big Bad Toy Store, see what's going on there. If there's new figures, nothing there. I open up like every toy figure shop I know, and then I go to Bai and see, because it's a Japanese site, it's most active from like 3 a.m. until like 10 a.m. or whatever. So unfortunately we're asleep at that time, but I'm a night owl, so I'm kind of up around like midnight or 1 a.m. And so I can see like things kind of popping in, and then I get like the leftovers when I wake up in the morning and see if there's anything good out there, and usually there are. So I check like almost every day. If you're just looking for like one figure that you're missing from your collection, it would be worth it just kind of just pop up for like 5 minutes, scroll through, see what's new. A list sorted by like the newest listing, and you'll get to see like you'll be able to catch up to what you saw previously if you check every day, so you won't miss anything.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So the lesson here is don't order from Premium Bandai.
Yeah. If they had a point system, man, that would change things, but nah. I feel like you can even order from like AmiAmi and get like a point system from there. I don't really like AmiAmi just because I don't like how the site is displayed. I don't know how to work my way around that site. Do you guys ever use AmiAmi?
I've used them once. I stopped using them because I heard they're really anal about canceling orders.
Yeah, they're really anal about that, and then they don't tell you the shipping until it's time to ship, which is scary for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I bought all this, but then I'm gonna get a surprise bill. Oh, your only option to ship is gonna be the $80 option, and you're stuck with that. That like scares me, so I don't ever want to do that. I only ever use it if I need to buy one figure. I got this Naruto figure from AmiAmi. Luckily, shipping was only like $10, and luckily the figure was on sale for $25, so it turns out to be $35, like just basic general release.
I've had good experience with Hobby Link Japan. I used to order them exclusively
back in the day.
Yeah.
I use a lot for Ichiban Kujis, the big figures. Like I'm pointing at the Ginyu Force right here, those big figures, I get them specifically from Tokyo Otaku Mode, because they have free shipping if you spend over $150. And if you're getting the entire set of these Ichiban Kuji figures that are like 5 figures, it usually tends to be like over $150. But they have a really good point system that you get like 25% back in points that you use. And so basically, I've bought with them since 2017. So now I just have like $200 worth of points in that account. So every time new Ichiban Kujis come out that are like worth $300, I just shave it all down with my points to bring it up to 150, like even, and then just save on that free shipping. And it's a beautiful thing.
It's free money.
It's free money. Tokyo Otaku Mode does have like a subscription service. You don't have to have it to buy from the site, but it's definitely worth it because you get the point system, and then like the subscription fee gets turned into like Disney dollars. You get to you turn around and they turn into points that you can then use. So you're not really losing money. You're just kind of you're just turning it into money that you can only use at this site. And if I'm going to use that site anyway, I might as well do that. So that there's that like transparency. Like I want to make sure, like, cause every time I bring up Tokyo Otaku Mode, people are like, you got to subscribe to use that site. I'm like, yeah. But if you're going to use them, if you know you're going to use it and especially for Ichiban Kuji figures, it's definitely worth it.
A lot of people just want the one-off figure, though. And
that's true. And I'm more geared toward, I was that. And like that, I think I still managed to, I don't know. It's, I forget now what it was like buying 2 figures a year. Like, what was that? Jesus.
So in closing, and I totally lost my train of thought. But, we're not sponsored by these websites at all.
Any of them. I've reached out and none have reached back.
Having said that, if you're from Bai or you're from Hobby Link Japan and you like what you heard, hey, we'll sell out like that.
My YouTube shorts and TikToks are making numbers, and I'm like, it's like free. I'm mentioning Bai. Like, I'm using Bai, and I'm not.
People think that you're sponsored when you do these
I'm like,
videos.
I'm not. This really is the way to get a good deal out of them. I really, because I grew up just like being very like, okay, I'm just going to get one figure because I can just afford this. Because I come from that, I want to share with everyone the way to get a cheap figure the best way they can. Like, that's my goal, basically.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. Thank you guys for sharing that, because I'm not crazy about it. I get a few things here or there, but I think that's really helpful for people that want to get into it. Be like, okay, this is, I'm going to start a collection, and I'm going to go. I think
that's the most passionate I've talked about any topic on this podcast. Like, I'm just like, please listen. I hope my ramblings made any sense. If anyone has any questions, like, feel free to reach out to me on like my Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, anywhere. Like, I'll be happy to help.
Doug's a helpful dude, and we love having him. We love his passion. But after that, we're going to let him cool down, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more show, so stick around. Hey there, welcome back to more of We Got a Podcast. First up, we want to hear what you guys had to say. So we threw out a tweet earlier today talking about, we're going to talk about merch. So what kind of collector are you? Do some show and tell, or just let us know what your favorite merch is. Oh, yeah, man. So first up, we got Jacob Sawyer, who says, I have some fan artwork, some guidebooks, the Kanzenban manga, some Crystal Dragon Balls, and some of the anime releases. Some are at work, some are around my house. Still holding off on the figures. So at least he's got some restraint, but he posted some fan art that he's got here. We've got a really cool one of Goku standing there holding the 4-star Dragon Ball, and his hair is blowing in the wind, but his hair is, some of it's black, some of it's blonde, some of it's blue, some of it's red, just to show like all the different forms, which looks really sick. We've got this really cool like chibi stylized collage. It's like the silhouette of young Goku, but then we've got like the tournament grounds, we've got Kame House, and we've got the androids.
Like the chibi form looks so cool.
I want this. I want a poster. I
see
of this.
Great Saiyan up there, like looking all awesome next to Yama.
Jacob, you got to hook Randy up. He's gonna put it on his wall.
Up. Showed us this cool GIF of this lenticular thing of.
That's what that's called, lenticular.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Kamea-Con a few years ago, they had a ton of those.
Yeah, I have one from a friend.
it's an illustration of Vegeta, but then it's sliced 3 ways, and they're all 3 different forms. When you turn it to a different angle, then it's Goku in 3 different forms. You turn it again, and we've got Black in there.
Vegeta, Goku.
Yep. So
those freak me out.
And then we've got a collection of the Kanzenban manga next to, of course, an Optimus Prime, which I think is very fitting.
Is that the
Kanzenban always looks so
MP01?
clean.
I don't know.
One masterpiece, or is that the that might be a model?
You got
kit,
me.
I'm not sure.
I'm I'm almost venturing into the Transformer. I'm venturing into the Gundam sphere because have you seen there's a Ninja Turtle / Gundam collab figures that are coming out.
I'm good on that.
They're gonna look so good.
So thanks, Jacob.
Omega Rockman makes a grand return. It's been a while. Writes in and says, "Don't know if DVDs count, but here goes, lol. I bought my Rock the Dragon set on a whim. Scott McNeil was at a con one year, but I didn't have the Pioneer movie DVDs at the time. I was trying to figure out what to get signed when I passed by the Funimation booth, paid full MSRP, and so I believe this is the book that comes in the Rock the Dragon set, I'm thinking.
I wish I got this MSRP. Like I didn't. I decided I'm good for collecting.
I put it
DVDs.
off.
Yeah,
I feel like such a fool.
And so he's got Scott McNeil signed in here, Special Beam Canoon. There's a bunch of O's.
Canon.
And then Omega Rockman follows up. The thing is, other than loving the cast, I don't even like the Saban era dub. The Pioneer movie dubs are amazing, of course. I told McNeil that he deserved royalties because he just made Funimation $80 on an impulse. No regrets, though. That thing is worth a lot these days.
Hell yeah.
So what you do is you buy 20 of them on Baiyi, and
you could.
Yeah.
We got Parker Rico, who says, as of late, I've been on and off when it comes to Dragon Ball merch, but when I was a kid, I was obsessed with this stuff. The Figuarts are great, but I've always had a soft spot for the figures that Irwin and Jax released, and despite the quality of some of them, I love collecting the video games. As for memories, there was one time I went to Savers, and me and my brothers found a bag full of Dragon Ball figures, and this was around the time there wasn't a lot of merch, so needless to say, we were all excited.
That's another thing, is I need to start hitting up, like, estate sales.
There'd be some good shit there.
Oh, from what I hear, you find, like, stuff that's worth a lot of money, because people just don't know what they have.
Right.
They're just getting rid of it. Damn.
It sounds like a treasure,
It was so
Parker.
cool, like, back then, we just, like, the figures looked high quality as hell to us back then, and it's not until we like go on we're like, oh, those look like ass now, like what? But back then it's just like video games now to us, like they stuff back then looked amazing, but now revisiting them, like, oh, they looked like that.
Well, it's also like you think of humanity on a grander scale, and like cave paintings, ancient Egypt, you know, our understanding of what we're looking at in reflected in art changes over time.
I guess, but I would have these figures of like, wow, this is straight from the anime, and I look at them now, and they're like, what's with the face? it's funny.
Jake Pay writes in and says, I collected some small figures starting in 2018. So late. Since then, I moved on to Gunpla, but my Dragon Ball figures still stay on the shelf. Shout out to Doug, who got me into it.
Hey.
Doug.
Oh, no.
And I sent him a picture of the first one I ever got. Kid Boo. Thanks.
Yeah.
You financially broke me, Doug.
That's the one thing I'm like kind of afraid of this episode is that I'm explaining to you how to get these, but also like you're going to be in this hole with me. that is
Join us.
Nate.
Join us for a new episode, How to Get Hooked on Hardcore Heroin and where to get it at great prices.
I'm just saying, if you're going to get into it, I might as well show you how to get into it with saving the most money you can. That's all I'm saying.
And
if you're going to do it, I'd prefer you do it in the house.
Yeah, I don't,
for a good
honestly,
price.
I don't want anyone to go into figure collecting, but if you are already, you might as well.
Jake Pay sends a picture of, I think this is Matchmakers, Goku, and Fourth Form Frieza.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the whole prize figure game, too, is such an annoying... Like, I'm glad now that by buying them through Baiyi, I'm spending maybe $10 per, whereas opposed to buying them in America, they're at least $26, sometimes $30 for each of those. But it's kind of a hassle because you have to like you have to do a lot of research. I have Excel spreadsheets like when these price figures come out, how to buy them in bulk, looking for sellers that are selling them in bulk, so I don't have to buy not bulk like same figure. I'm rambling. Let me get out of here. I'm done.
All right, we got the next one from PikaFan3, and this is a thread, but I want to point out, I'm not sure if it's like this for anybody else. The image is content warning, sensitive content. The author labeled this post as containing sensitive content. Item number 1. Dragon Ball Complete box set. This purchase is the reason I was able to read the Dragon Ball Adventures before the Z portion. It's also a suitcase that you can carry around because of its handle on top. Unfortunately, I wouldn't call it the definitive way to read the original manga because the color pages by Toriyama have been grayscaled and the censoring done on Popo. While I believe some depictions are a product of their time, I believe maintaining honesty and original intention is not only important for preservation, but it is also an ethical and moral obligation to any collector of any item. Another sensitive content warning for the image. Number 2, Super Saiyan 5 Goku. I like this figure a lot, but you'll notice the 2 long strands of hair are missing. This is because I lost them. The existence of this figure helps me see AF as more than just text. And we've got a few photos of this figure here and it says, my collection.
That's not bad.
Yeah. My collection is small, but I'm happy with it. AF forever.
Forever. For what I imagine this figure being, like how old this figure is, that's not bad.
Ultra Pasteurized writes in, which might be my new favorite name of someone who's written in here. My Dragon Ball collection is over 9,000 or 8,000 laughing crying emoji tilted to the side. From Goku tape dispensers to rare vintage VHS and new Figuarts releases, or even old Jax Irwin or new Ichibancho, I have it all. Here's a bit of my collection to share. So I'm just going to click through some of this. I'm not going to click on the videos because those will start playing sound. But yeah, I mean, this is you go ahead and do that. It's a big collection. Yeah,
so many stickers.
It is displayed nicely too. This is what I love. It's just like the display of it. Like I could have my SH Figuarts just like lined up by that, but having them tilted so that they're facing the front and everything, like the way he has them with the posters and everything looks so great.
And then the ones that aren't on shelves stored in buckets, the way I do too.
Yep.
One of these videos should have been labeled sensitive content because on the screen they have the Namek arc, the Ginyu stuff. Raccoon face down, ass up.
Purely for our enjoyment.
I appreciate that.
It's not even like paused on that image. He's actually watching and it's happening because you can see the camera zooming in on that shot.
Yeah, that's a really sick collection.
I see this what I'm talking about with the posters being framed. Like that's the high level that you reach of elevation.
Aspirational. Thank you, Ultra Pasteurized. And then we've got from Marcus here who says, since Toriyama passed, I have been wanting to read his non-Dragon Ball work. Sadly, lots of stuff hasn't been published in English. Luckily, I speak Portuguese, and some Brazilian publishers were doing God's work in the 2000s. Had insane luck finding these. So happy to own them. And we've got images of Kajika, Katsura, or that's just the author, isn't it? Katsura Akira short stories. And then we've got the Akira Toriyama, Akira Sakuma mangaka book. I'm not familiar with that one.
Me neither.
If anyone is reading this and has a copy of Nekomajin in Portuguese, hit me up. Let's talk. My other treasure is my mix and match Blu-ray collection. I posted it to Reddit once and got some mixed opinions. One person really saw the vision, though, and I was super glad that they understood. Listen, it gets me the whole story in 4:3 aspect ratio with only the good filler. And we have the level sets 1 and 2, and then we've got Z Kai, part 2, 3, and then we've got part 4, and then the Android stuff and the Cell things, and then we've got the steel case
Blu-ray 4:3 Blu-rays,
4:3 ones,
the Walmart exclusives.
Which honestly,
7, 8, 9.
I think those Boo Arc episodes are the best looking ones of those. That Blu-ray set,
right? We had better quality masters for those, so that they do look pretty decent.
I can't get over one person really saw the vision.
And then he continues, when I was looking for the Kai Part 4 set with the Yamamoto score, found out on their website that a video game store in North Dakota had it for way less than eBay prices. Had to pay a courier service to go buy it for me and mail it to me. Still came out cheaper than eBay. Huge W. Also have a Blu-ray of Battle of Gods with the Mexican dub. I've become a big fan of their dub in the last few years. I found out just the other day there was a 3D Blu-ray of Resurrection F released in Hong Kong. Went ahead and ordered that too. I'd be interested to see what that 3D conversion is like.
Right.
So, hit me up. I want to throw that on my Quest, and I'm going to watch that in a 3D movie theater. And I want to see what that's like.
That'd be incredible.
You could really see Goku's 3D model tearing apart in the perfect
hair
way.
just going everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Thank you for doing the show and tell, everybody.
That was great.
It's so good to see, what is attractive to people, like, what, things do you want to collect, and, things that I didn't even know existed. It's so cool. So,
and I'm sorry, Jake.
So thank you for all of that. If you don't know, the show is on Spotify. Maybe you're listening there right now. We have some interactive stuff there that we put every episode. So I just want to highlight that again. We had a poll from last time where we did our villain tier list, asking people, do they like this? Do you like tier list episodes? And overwhelmingly, people said, love this, more please. And 0 people voted not a fan. So I'm taking that as we want more of this. So
great.
And if you have suggestions of what you'd like to see us rank, let us know.
Yes.
Bulma hairstyles?
SH Figuarts?
I also asked, what villain do you wish got more time to shine? And we have a couple of things here. Saban, always given the good answers. Revolver Ocelot. And I think that is something that Ken would be a really well cut out to talk a lot about. Revolver Ocelot.
6 bullets, more than enough to kill anything that moves.
Okay, but now do the cat meow from 3.
There's some voice modulation down there, some reverb.
And you nailed it.
So thanks.
Yeah. Felt like I was really there in the 1970s. Is that when it was? 60s? I don't remember.
1964.
There we go. Thank you.
This feels so much better than simply changing a clip.
Bodega says, honestly, I think most villains overstay their welcome, and the longer they stick around, the less consistent they're written. That being said, Tambourine killed Krillin, and he's not even on this list. It's true. We didn't talk about Tambourine. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
That is how some of the villains are just like so high tier, like the Ginyu Force. They're around for as much time as they need to be before it gets old, and that's what makes them.
Yeah, I mean, so Tambourine, special. I would not rank Tambourine high. C.
He killed Krillin. End of list of things that he did.
Yeah, I think I would at least give him a B.
I would rank Symbol higher because he gets eaten by Yajirobe.
Oh, that's true. Oh, you know what? Sick. That's who I was thinking of as Tambourine. So yeah, I think Symbol I would rate as a B.
And then Ryan Terrell says, would love a movie villain or movies tier list. Always love fellow nerds debating about stuff they love. Would love if it got to shine more. So, all right, well. Now we know what we can do next is movie villains and just movie tier lists. So
movies,
I think that
yes, movie villains. I think it's like you have maybe 2 or 3 that are high up, and the rest are like D tier.
No, maybe no. There's arguments to be made.
Hildegarn S+.
Dude, his name, how it was made, immediate S tier.
All right, so check that out, and we'll have more stuff up there. But we can't.
But Randy, we can't leave yet because we got one thing we need to do.
That Doug's you always. It's true. The thing that Doug consistently remembers exists, which is our trivia section. So
please tell me Zenpai made it figure related. Please tell me.
Look, figure related. The man can only do so much. He's so knowledgeable on a lot of things, figures and things. Not so much, but that's okay.
He's here to talk about the Portuguese Neko Majin Z release.
No. He's the hookup.
All right, so I've got 3 questions for you guys, and I need you to be on your game. So be ready.
Okay.
Question number 1, how many Dragon Balls came out for the PlayStation 4 so far?
How many what?
Like, how many Dragon Ball games came out on the PlayStation 4?
That's not what you said the first time.
How many Dragon Balls came out for that?
Is that what I said? How many Dragon Balls are on the PlayStation 4? I'm so
7.
sorry.
So we're talking about a game for the PlayStation 4?
Mm-hmm.
3.
Ken, would you like to give an
answer? It's at least 4.
Damn, really?
Yeah. So it's Xenoverse, Xenoverse 2, Fighters,
if you're
and Breakers.
Including Jump Force as a Dragon Ball game.
No.
I cannot believe this. You said 4 and you named 4. You said
Yeah.
Xenoverse, Xenoverse 2, Fighters, and Breakers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And?
Breakers.
Oh,
And
Kakarot.
Kakarot.
Yeah, 5.
There we
Thank you.
I was thinking of Kakarot.
See, it's like when I talk about Hitman, that's like a life experience. That's the way Kakarot is. It's not really a game. It's,
it transcends.
It's a Goku
consoles.
simulator, you know.
Yes. Doesn't matter what console plays it. It's just
Game,
like the
beep boop,
experience.
press buttons, beep boop, ooh, high score, beep. No, it's not like that. This is more than that.
really had to
Just a
tease that
religion.
one out of you. So I'm not
5.
sure if I
I'll
should
take
give
the
you a
point.
I counted
I'll take it.
Universe as one whole entity. If that's my excuse.
Kind of should. Next one. How many different editions has the Dragon Ball manga had thus far? And it
Oh.
looks like these are Japanese that we were going to be sticking to here.
Are you talking about reprints, like the reprinted Tankobon with the different spine art? Does he count that?
No.
That's the only thing he's counting. He's not counting like how many reprints.
We're talking about different like kinds of releases.
Sizes.
Right. Like I can hold them in my hands and like this is different than this one.
Kind of. Almost.
I've got 4 I'm thinking of right now.
We're not counting Weekly Shonen Jump, right? So it's the original
To
Tankobon.
collected releases.
It's the remake with the new cover.
No,
The Kanzenban.
we're saying we're not counting that.
Kanzenban is what he was getting at. So yes.
Oh, but not the okay. Oh,
And so he-
Tankobon, Kanzenban. So you got 2.
the
Right.
any manga.
That's not really the manga. That's an adaptation of the show.
Says it in the
It's a manga of the show
title.
based on the manga.
Yeah.
Doug, how could you?
it's logical. I don't know. I just own the 2.
Okay, yeah, so Tankobon, Kanzenban, there's the omnibus editions, there's full color, and I don't know, man. I don't know what the
full
next one would be.
What's the omnibus? There's a Japanese omnibus.
No, these ones, the digest books, the big ones that you.
There we go.
Oh, the
Yeah.
ones that I missed out on getting.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So again, our answer is 5. Ken, you've named 4.
Yeah.
So here's how he has it listed:
Oh boy.
Tankobon,
Right.
Kanzenban,
Yes.
the full color,
Uh-huh.
digital full color.
No.
Because there are.
No. You
No.
can't.
He says it's different.
No.
In
No.
parentheses,
I say, I'm
Poo-poo.
minus a
Nah.
million
Different-
points, senpai.
it's
Get that
different
out of
covers. You know,
So is the
Right.
reprints.
Yeah,
so is
and
the
then
reprints of Dragon Ball
There's
Tankobon.
the reprints with the different spine, and then there's the
Yeah.
new ones they're putting out with all the guest artists
and
on
then
it. So.
there's the time that I redrew Dragon Ball
Yeah.
by hand.
I
version.
say because
The Dogobon.
we be getting way too granular with it, we got to throw that digital one
Yeah,
out. So
yeah,
sorry,
get outta here.
I'm taking that one away
All
from
right.
you, senpai.
I'll
Portuguese
accept-
Nekomajin, come on.
all right, and then a final one. Not counting VHS, how many different editions of Dragon Ball Z came out in North America? So these are different releases, just like the manga, but the anime, but for North America.
DVD.
Right, the individual disc releases.
So level sets are out.
So he says not counting VHS, does not specifically
Oh, so
say.
it would count.
But then he says DVD releases.
No,
No,
you
no,
added
just,
that.
I thought you were saying DVD like as singles.
Okay.
I forgot to get around this back during the episode, but I have most of my collection at my mom's house, like my DVDs and everything, and she still lives there. And I moved out, but I left my Dragon Ball collection there with her. This would be so helpful because if I was there, I'd be able to look at my DVD collection and
Okay.
see, oh, there's this
Well-
many. I own this many versions.
There's a lot, so let's start counting these out. So
Yeah.
we've got the
Yeah.
original Funimation releases. Are we separating out the uncut and the? Wait, no, those are just the movies. But do those count?
All right. This unfortunately.
Why don't you just tell us? Because this is
All right.
I don't know how granular we're
Yeah.
getting with this.
Rudimentary, yeah.
All right. So, you know what? Actually, that's correct because we have 2 answers here that he's got. I will tell you the first one is 7, according to Zenpai. He says it's the individual disc release,
Yeah.
the ultimate uncut editions, because technically the individual disc releases, they never, like, delineated. They're like, the episode count stayed the same between the edited versions of the, like, Saban era stuff to the regular ones. So individual disc
Unfortunately.
releases. Ultimate uncut edition.
Right.
The best.
Remastered season sets, orange bricks, the
worst.
Dragon Box sets, the remastered Blu-ray sets, or the level edition, the level
Right.
sets is what we're talking
God
about here.
tier.
The remastered Blu-ray sets that were following like the 16:9 But then they
Yes.
changed it to a more selective crop, I think, rather than being straight in the middle.
They tried.
And then the 30th anniversary collector's edition Blu-ray. So 7.
I remember that and just laughing. Like, I was the DVD collector guy, and then when that came up, I just started laughing. Like, no, thank you, sir.
But the other answer, which Ken you got, is I will also accept too many or way too many as an answer. So we could get way too
Us
granular.
giving up is that answer, that same answer.
Yes, that's true. There's way
Us
too
saying,
many.
"Fuck
Points
that."
for everyone.
And if you really wanted to get crazy, you could also say Kai as another one. It's not Z, but I mean, it's called Dragon Ball Z.
Kai
Only
with
in
the
the US.
Kikuchi soundtrack, and then Kai without.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were talking about North America,
Oh, that's
so you know.
What they call it in
I'll-
Mexico?
I'll-
They're part of North America. Randy.
I'll give you some trivia that Ken might know. What is the rarest SH Figuart out there for Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
In terms of like they didn't make as many.
What would cost the most to buy right now?
That's different from the rarest. The most it costs to buy right
Is
now
it?
is San Diego
I'll
Comic-Con
allow
2011.
both answers.
I would still say the rarest is probably that Goku Black.
No, you are close because you said Mexico before. It is the Mexican release of Goku.
Oh, true.
That one goes for like $5,000 minimum.
What about the
For
Hong
some
Kong
reason.
Bulma? How rare is that one?
That's only $100.
But is it more rare?
I still don't have her, but it might be rare. I don't know. Sorry. I mean, what is the hardest? What are you talking about?
This is why
It's just $5,000 for a dumb figure of Goku that is the same as it just has I want it, but I'm never gonna get it because that is too much money.
if you got a $5,000 check right now, I bet
No,
swimming in your mind, you'd be like, well, maybe I could just get that real
no.
quick.
There's no. That is one price that there's no inkling of me that like cares.
Yeah.
Like I missed the chance to get it for $40, so it's dead to me.
All right. Well, speaking of being dead to you, this show is dead to you because
It's over.
So thanks for listening. We live in
figures more. I want to help more. I want my explanation to be better. I'll make a TikTok video maybe of like explaining the process of like what I do and how I do. Does that sound
We'll
good?
tell you. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna close out this episode, and then we're gonna leave the call open. But Ken and I are gonna go live life, and you can continue.
Sit here with me, just like, all right, guys. Let's. I'm gonna pull up the whiteboard and just show you. You check this site first, then this site, then you go to here. Get
So
this
thanks
coupon.
thanks for listening. Thanks for interacting, and we love interacting with you and keeping you in the conversation, talking about our favorite franchise in the world. You can post at us on our socials. You can email us at wegottapod@gmail.com, and our socials are at wegottapod.
Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use the track Kakarot theme hip hop trap remix. You can find that and other great tracks by Rifti on his SoundCloud. Randy, where can people find you?
You can find me at Saber_Breaker. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me at Detective X, but the coolest thing about this Goku figure is that you can
Yeah.
pose the belt, so I can make it like he's powering
Yeah.
up, you know?
Dude, I can't wait for the new Naruto figures because his headband is posable as well. Oh, and the new Gohan, where his cape is like actual fabric, so you can actually pose that. I hear there's some
All
QC
right.
issues with the Gohan though, because its
Thanks
leg
everyone
kinda
for
snaps
listening.
off. It kinda
Make sure
breaks.
you
I bought 3 just in case I get
subscribe,
weird,
review,
but
tell your friends all about it, and we will catch you, Matsunator.
A friend hooked me up, and I'm gonna get fucking everyone.